What's going on, everybody? Who is that kid? You're just gonna stare at me? Oh.
I am Walrus. What the hell?
Hey everybody, it is Artie of Artie's Corporate Fiction. Happy Friday to all of you. Hope you're doing well. We're gonna go right into it with the continuation of the Michael McDonald saga. Last we stopped, we had stopped at close to the beginning of his of a detective's cross-examination. Well, I think he worked for the political crimes division or something like that, right? And he was about to be cross-examined by Mr. McDonald's attorney. And as I recall, it gets pretty spicy. Should be fun. Family court. Right. But should have it. In the meantime, I'm going to be working with my dad to see what we're going to have for dinner. Oh, there we go. All right, guys, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Oh, let me make sure that there you go. Let's see how we go.
Well, we gotta finish up with him and Marshall.
And Your Honor received the state's proposed jury instructions.
Yes, do you have a set?
Not yet. We'll
All right.
tomorrow.
We absolutely, and you guys will have to meet and go over the verdict form, go over jury instructions that you agree on, and then the ones you don't agree on. So we don't have to go through the ones you have no objections to. Standard ones. Okay, bring them in. Anything else?
There.
appearances for the record.
The court has a few comments before we begin.
Please rise for the jury. Okay, please be seated. Parties acknowledge the presence of the jury.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes.
Acknowledge the presence
Acknowledge
of
the presence.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Thank you. Go ahead, continue. You're still under oath.
And Detective, I think we have worked out the technical difficulties, so we're going to show you some video.
This is your motion. You have the burden. You have to tell me things.
And Detective, is this the video you obtained from the March 16, 2018 hearing in the course of your investigation?
It is.
Okay. All right. And this has already been admitted as State's Exhibit 7. It's 3 different clips, and we're just going to play all of them.
So yeah, I would like to.
Okay, so you need to raise your right hand.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to make in this action shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yeah.
Hold on. Is that a yes, Mr.
Yes,
McDonald?
Judge.
You have 5 minutes.
Okay, I will.
Back on the record, everybody have a seat. Counsel, you can certainly call your witnesses and call Mr. McDonald. What's your preference? Who would you like to call first?
Mr. McDonald.
Mr. McDonald, come on up to the witness stand. I'm going to remind you that you're under oath. You can leave all your notes and paperwork there.
Okay.
Go ahead, counsel. We're back on the record. Thank you, counsel, Mr. McDonald, for giving me a moment to review some documents. Thank you, Mr. McDonald, for giving me a moment to review some documents. Come on up back to the witness stand. I'm going to ask you to put your phone away. Counsel, continue.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, I was gonna say. Oh, sorry. I was gonna say that he's not taking the stand. Michael McDonald doesn't take the stand in this case. They're just showcasing the videos to ensure that he was under oath during that hearing.
Where are you currently living?
Close to UMLB.
Can you tell me your address?
I prefer not to, as I don't want to be stalked.
You don't want to be stalked?
Judge, I've been being stalked recently, as per my evidence, and I would not like to disclose my address.
Okay.
you're not currently living at 5812 Harmony Avenue.
Correct.
So that's the address you have listed on your most recent financial disclosure, correct?
I sometimes use it as a mailing address.
And whose address is that?
Stepdad.
Are you currently working?
I do odd jobs currently.
What type of odd jobs do you do?
Depends. Some computer stuff, some real estate stuff, cleaning up things like.
Okay, and how much do you get paid for those odd jobs?
I try to make it. I do as much as I can to make like $800 to pay my bills, so at least $800 a month.
Okay, and you realize that you've listed on your financial disclosure that you make $0, correct?
I don't believe it's true.
Do you have a copy of your financial disclosures that you filed?
I don't think I do. I think it's in the exhibit list. It might be over there. So I'm also a student right now and doing my best to get work as I tried to get rehired at my old job and was unable to.
You paying for school?
I'm going for financial aid and scholarships.
You're submitting paperwork for that, or you already have that?
I submitted for financial aid, yes.
But you're not currently receiving it?
I got approved. I didn't get approved for last semester, but I should be getting approved for this upcoming semester.
So you went to school last semester?
Yeah.
How did you pay for school last semester?
Through financial aid. I think I still owe them some money on that, so we're still waiting on funds for that.
When did you start and you're attending school at UNLV, is that correct?
Yeah.
When did you start attending school there?
It's the winter semester of 2017.
Isn't that semester still going?
No, it's spring semester.
And on your financial disclosure, despite listing that you make $0, you claim $800 in business expenses, correct?
Maybe I filled it out inappropriately. That 800 is around what I'm currently going for it each month. I'm doing my best to earn.
Okay, because you also, so you have on your business expenses, you have a car and truck being used for business that you spend $100 a month on.
That's a gas charge, I think, if I recall.
For insurance, $100. For mortgage or rent, $550.
Yeah.
Are you renting out an office space?
It's zone commercial and real estate and residential.
So you're living there?
Possibly, yeah.
And utilities of $50, correct?
That's part of the 550. Yeah.
So you have. So you list here that your average gross income from self-employment or business is $800, correct?
It fluctuates,
And
yes.
then $750 in business expenses. Okay. And then you also filled out the personal expense schedule. And you have a total monthly expenses of $1,050.
Yeah, so I also have a rental contract where I can have reduced rent for doing different jobs around the limits of my friend's house. So.
Okay, so is that a business address or is that a lease? So you're paying $550 for rent on a business and $500 for
No,
rent
that's
on an
incorrect.
apartment?
It's a commercial and residential place. It's a big place that I have. I also have beds for my kids. I have everything in place for them as well. Take them over there.
Oh,
But as you say here, if you're making $0 a month,
I didn't state that.
I'm going to have you. You don't have a copy of your financial disclosure. I'll have you look at this. Can you just review that real quick, and then I'll ask you some questions.
Oh, thank you, Beaver, for the 145 super chat. Much appreciated.
Okay.
Does that appear to be your financial disclosure?
Appears to be.
Is that your signature on the back page?
So,
Is that your handwriting with your name at the top of the front page?
so.
Okay, and if you look on the second page, what does it state for your annual income? Up towards the top.
Year-to-date income, is that what it is?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think I filled that out. It wasn't.
Does it have zeros written?
Oh, I think it's question mark because I don't know exactly how much it was.
So those aren't zeros.
I was
written in
unemployed for
that category?
Oh, this year, 2018. Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't sure what to put there.
The record speaks for itself, counsel. I can see the financial disclosure form that he filed with the court that says gross monthly income 0.
Okay, so that I might have divided by 12.
0, 0, 0,
Yeah,
0 divided by 12, 0.
I might have put that.
Okay, next question.
That's still a great moment. 0, 0, 0, 0 divided by 12 is 0.
And Detective, was that a portion of the video that you obtained and watched in the course of your investigation?
It was.
And I wanted to clarify something I asked you earlier, because I asked if you had ever met with any of the parties or attorneys or judges involved in the defendant's family court case. To be clear, did you ever in the course of your investigation meet with the defendant Michael McDonald's ex-wife?
No.
Have you ever met her?
No.
Have you ever spoken to her?
No.
Okay. And I want to ask a question, backing up to something you mentioned, that when you reviewed the letters in this case that were filed in the family court case, I believe you testified that you thought they looked like they'd been like what was filed was a photo taken of the letters.
Correct.
Okay. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe you testified that you saw a shadow on the filings that made you think that?
In the bottom left-hand corner, there's kind of a rectangular object which appears to be some kind of a shadow effect.
Okay. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to publish a State's Exhibit 5 and turn a few pages into that same exhibit. And so are we looking at the letter here?
Yes.
Okay. And this area here, is that what you're talking about?
Yes, this is actually a photocopy, so it's not as clear as an actual photograph that I've seen of it. That much clearly indicates, it really indicates it's a shadow. This is kind of hard to tell in the photocopy, it just looks like a black spot.
Okay. And when you said photos, do you mean some of the photos that
Jeff Bernardo, thank you for the 199 super chat. How's he afford all those gimbals making $0?
were obtained during the execution of the search warrant?
No, one of the filings was actually a clear photograph.
Okay. Do you recall the date on that filing? It's okay if you don't.
I don't.
Thank you, all the new members.
Of course, brief indulgence.
It was a
There's no question pending.
It's sustained.
So I'm going to publish State's Exhibit 3.
Well, Shay, thank you for the $2 super chat. I have your name on here.
Photocopy.
Sorry.
now publishing State's Exhibit 2.
BSBT, thank you for the $2 super chat. Artie, te amo.
Okay. Is this what you're referring to?
Yes.
Okay. And this area here, is this the shadow you're talking about?
Correct.
And why did this make you think that it was the...
Ed, I am on all 3 platforms tonight. Looks like it's going pretty smoothly so far.
You can see the background of behind the letter, and then also the shadow appeared to me to be as if it was, the photo was being taken by a phone or a tablet, and the lighting was behind, so it cast a shadow onto the actual document that was being photographed.
Court's brief involvement. I will pass the witness, Your Honor.
Cross-examine.
Detective, how many years have you been with the Metropolitan Police Department?
25 years.
25 years. And you've had a variety of assignments, correct?
Correct.
And I suspect you've come to learn a fair bit of the law.
All right, here we go. Time for the cross. Get ready, folks.
Law over your course and your assignments, correct? Sure. Sir, what does the word fraud mean to you?
What does freedom mean to you?
Legal conclusion.
25 years.
Yeah.
Counsel, I'm sustaining the objection.
Seriously, that's obviously calls for a legal conclusion.
Not a lawyer.
All right, sir. Let me ask you a question. Let's start from the beginning. You got a tip on social media. Okay? What social media did you get a tip on?
Facebook.
Facebook. And was it the Nevada Court Watchers website, Facebook page?
Yes, it was.
Uh-oh.
Yes, it was. Do you know who moderates Nevada Facebook or Nevada Court Watchers?
Not specifically, no.
Not specifically. That sounded awful evasive. Who moderates the Nevada Court Watchers Facebook page?
I didn't mean to be evasive with my answer. What I'm saying is I've never seen any documentation of who moderates it, or if there's more than one person.
Who do you believe moderates the Nevada Court Watchers?
Oh my God.
I know there's one person that appears to be running things.
And who is that, sir?
Mark DiCiero.
Mark DiCiero. And are you familiar with the name Marshall
Hi.
Willick?
Yes.
And does he in fact also manipulate or contribute extensively to Nevada Court Watchers?
I don't know the answer to that.
Now, sir, isn't it a little dangerous for you to start taking anonymous tips from a group that has a clear agenda?
No, we take anonymous tips all the time, and that's why we corroborate the information.
So now I forgot he goes right into it. Basically, guys, his entire cross is going to rest on the theory that the detective is conducting a witch hunt against Mr. McDonald because of his political aspirations. Yeah. Get strap yourselves in, folks.
Okay, well, let's go through this. You're on a group that you know has a kind of agenda, sort of political edge to it, and you're watching their website or their Facebook feed. And somebody says, hey, Michael McDonald's running for office and he doesn't live in the district. Correct?
I'm sorry, was there a question?
Was that exactly
Taco, thank you for the $2 super chat. We know the real BSBT can't afford $2. Also true.
Yes.
Okay. Now, you're not at the Secretary of State's office, correct?
Correct.
You don't liaison with the people who actually run the elections, the registrar of voters.
No, that's incorrect.
Are you in work for the Secretary of State?
No, but we're part of a task force with them.
Task force with them. Okay.
Gotcha.
So, when someone says maybe the candidate doesn't live where they say they do, did you go pull the filings to see where he said he lived?
Yes.
And did you in fact go down and surveil his location?
Yes.
And did you in fact see him coming and going from the location he listed?
Over a period of time, yes.
Okay. And you weren't satisfied that he lived there anymore? What happened? The investigation was started, you saw him coming and going out of the residence. what more was needed to be investigated?
I'm unclear on your question.
Well, no, I'm very unclear as well, so let's see if I can rephrase this. You got asked by somebody at Nevada Court Watchers, somebody named Ciro, an anonymous tip to investigate where Mr. McDonald lives.
Objection, misstating testimony.
All right, you took
Yep.
an anonymous tip from somebody that he didn't live where he's supposed to.
Oh my
There was a
God.
posting on the site that was the case, yes.
Who posted it on the site?
I don't know.
You don't know. So it's an anonymous tip,
Yes.
okay?
Okay.
Now, anonymous tips are very dangerous in police work, correct?
No?
Sometimes they can be useful, sometimes people have agendas, correct?
Correct.
All right? So,
Sure,
you get
possible.
an anonymous tip. What do you do to verify?
As I testified before, I pulled his Secretary of State, or excuse me, the filings from the Clark County Elections Department to look at the package. One of the items that stood out to me is that on the same day, March 13th, that he filed a Nevada Department of Motor Vehicles
Sir,
in,
if I could stop you, I asked you very specifically.
and I'm
Pull
answering,
the Secretary of State filings address.
I'm answering your questions.
All right, then what are you doing over at the DMV suddenly?
I'm explaining to you what was in the package that I pulled.
What package did you pull from whom?
I said I pulled the election package from the Clark County Election Department.
Okay.
And within that filing of the documents that Mr. McDonald filed when he filed for his candidacy, there was a Nevada Department of Motor Vehicles interim DMV driver's license showing that on March 13th of 2018, he changed his address to 5603 Southeastern, and that was the same day that he actually filed for candidacy. So that was concerning to me that he's changing his address the same day that he's filing for candidacy.
And did he in fact live at 5063 Southeastern?
Eventually, I determined that he did, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So why didn't the investigation end there?
At that time, we had already had,
If I could, before, okay, you found out
Okay,
506.
objection, badgering, he asked a question.
I'm not badgering, I'm trying, I'm not
Counsel,
getting an
let
answer.
him answer
Uh-oh.
the question.
All right,
You
sir.
ask a question, go ahead and answer.
He says he lives at 5063 Southeastern. You go to 5063 Southeastern, you conduct surveillance, and you see that he's coming and going out of 5063 Southeastern.
Uh-huh.
What more needs to be investigated?
so first of all, it's 5603 Southeastern, but,
Take that.
so the day that I actually obtained that original information, it was the very next day that I obtained the information regarding the filing of the letters which I observed.
Stop, right there. I obtained information. Obtained information. Who specifically gave you information regarding Mr. McDonald's divorce?
I'm talking
What does
about
it matter?
the filings from family court, and I observed the letters. But the next day, there was another posting on the same Facebook site that indicated that there was a forged letter that had been filed in Mr. McDonald's divorce case.
All right, so somebody is feeding you information through a Facebook page called Nevada Court Watchers.
So he's upset that somebody ratted Michael out to an investigator. All right.
Objection, mischaracterizing
All right,
testimony.
who gave you the information the second time?
I don't know.
All right, so let me go through here for a moment. You were given information he doesn't live there. You went over there and found out that he did. Then you're given information that there's a false filing in his family court case, correct?
I think you're mischaracterizing the timeline of, you're saying that I found out that he lived there the same day, and then I found out this information. It's not correct. I didn't determine that he lived there for a good several weeks while I was knee-deep into this whole investigation involving all of these aspects.
Sir, let me ask you a question. You went over and spoke with Ms. Hunterton, correct?
Yes.
She confirmed for you that she met with Mr. McDonald. She was just counseling him.
Correct.
That he had been there routinely, correct?
No.
She's we've got her attendance sheets, he was routinely over at her house.
Okay, that's not what she told me, but, okay.
That Mr. McDonald had asked her for a letter, and you agree she said that?
Are you talking about the very first time I met with her?
Sure, I've got it.
I know what you, I'm trying to understand what you're talking about so I can answer your question, but you're being kind of vague with the questions.
I have to object, these questions are calling for hearsay.
They're not hearsay questions, it's a very simple.
Ask a question.
Sir, you went over, you suspected he didn't live at the address. And then who directed you to open up an investigation into his family court file?
Nobody directed me.
Nobody directed you. How many other people have you gone over and just pulled their
Oh my God.
divorce pleadings?
Yeah, there we go.
Divorce? Are you looking at my pleadings?
Quite a bit. I pulled court filings from a lot of different.
Okay, so you pull court pleadings. Now, who directs you to, detective?
Nobody.
Does he let the sheriff tell you to investigate?
Objection badgering, he has to let the witness answer the
Sustained
question.
counsel.
Yep.
Who directs you to investigate?
Nobody. I conduct
Who's pulling the strings?
investigative steps on my own investigations.
Is it the deep state?
Now, how many of the people that were running for state assembly did you investigate last cycle?
None from the state assembly.
All right, now let me ask you a question, detective. You pulled his divorce pleadings. Now, you found out he lives where he says he lives, and he pulled his divorce pleadings. Now what? Why are you investigating his divorce pleadings?
That was part of the entire investigation.
And this was investigation begun at the behest of Nevada Court.
Hope Phil, thank you for the 199 super chat.
It wasn't at the behest of anybody.
Marty
It
Josh,
was information
es un
that I gave,
padre.
and I started it.
Okay, so all I have to do is anonymously post, and you'll start looking into something.
If I see it and it's under my purview, then most likely, yes.
All right, sir. Now, Ms. Hunterton, did you go over and talk with her?
Yes,
All right. You went and pulled these documents, correct?
correct.
Now, I'm going to go through and I want to try to stand.
Nice, very dust.
Ask us some timeline. How long has this divorce been going on?
Several years.
Several years. How many different sets of documents have been filed in this divorce proceeding?
I don't know.
All right. Did you go down to the divorce proceeding and pull up every single piece of paper?
No.
No. Now, you watched a few moments ago while Mr. McDonald, who did not have a lawyer, was getting badgered by a lawyer about his financial disclosure, correct?
Watched the video, yes.
All right. Now, did you actually go to see if they were even talking about the same financial disclosure forms that we're talking about today?
I'm unclear. Did I go
Did you
where
go-
to see?
Well, yes, sir. Mr. McDonald was hired, was laid off, was hired, was laid off. There's going to have to have been a number of financial disclosure forms if they were properly being kept up to speed.
Well, the financial disclosure form that was being talked about in the video is clearly the one that was filed by Mr. McDonald on the
Clearly.
13th.
How do you reach that conclusion, sir?
Because they were reviewing it on the video, and you can follow along with the document as they're talking about it on the video.
All right, now let me go through some of your basics here, sir. You attached to your search warrant a financial affidavit from the 26th of September 17. You remember that?
No.
Yep.
Counsel, this is from your discovery. May I approach?
Yes.
You recognize that document, sir?
Yes.
All right, and what is the date on that document?
That's 9/26 of 17, but that's not a financial disclosure form.
That's a form where Mr. McDonald's asking the fees to be waived because he can't afford them, correct?
It's a fee opposition or motion sheet. I can't even read what this says. I'm not clear exactly what it's stating, but.
All right, well, you attached it to your documents, that's attached to your search warrant, correct?
Right.
So, or wouldn't you, if you don't know what it was, where are you attaching it?
I'm attaching it because it appears that the bottom area, that there was some kind of a computer program that changed the wording defendant, and also the date was typed in there over the form that was handwritten initially, and an electronic signature. And that goes to, it indicates that Mr. McDonald has access to some type of program or something that can put this type of typeset on a document, which appears to be the same as in the counselor letter.
And the fact, that's why you attached it?
Yes.
Okay, it also indicates that you had no money to pay legal fees at the time, correct? Filing fees?
I'd have to read it. This isn't a legible copy.
Okay, what's the date on that?
9/26 of 17.
9/26 of 17. He wasn't actually hired for the employment records until October. So in the month of September, when he said he didn't have any money, he didn't have any work, you have no reason to doubt that.
But this isn't a financial disclosure form. This isn't just saying whether he's working or not.
All right, sir, have you ever handled any litigation? You ever litigated a case as an attorney or as a pro litigant?
No.
And when you went through your divorce, were you able to afford an attorney?
Yes.
Okay.
Objection, relevance.
So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Sustained, council approach.
Uh-oh.
I'm sorry, sir. Now, my point and the reason I was.
Knock it off,
to
is
was
basically
how
what he
often
said.
Do you have to file financial disclosure forms in family court?
I don't know.
Okay. Now, if you don't know, and I don't know, how would someone find out how often you're supposed to file financial disclosure forms in family court?
There's self-help available. There's different means of finding out, but I don't know if there's a rule or if there's not a rule.
Okay, so my point, sir, it's one thing to be sloppy with paperwork. It's quite another to be committing a crime. You agree?
Somewhat.
Okay. Now, we all sign tax returns to say I swear under penalty of perjury to the first is the best of my ability, that I know this stuff is true. But the tax goes a million pages long.
Mhm.
Now, did the thought occur to you in the course of your investigation that Mr. McDonald is not a family court lawyer?
Well, clearly he's not a family court lawyer.
Okay, so did you find out what happened to his original attorney? Did you find out that he committed suicide?
I'm
What is this?
aware that he's had several attorneys.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
So my
yeah.
question, sir, is at least in September of 17, Mr. McDonald was in fact unemployed and didn't have any income coming in. So my question for you, sir, is did you look at the financial disclosure form other than the last page? Did you see the front page of it?
The one filed March 13th.
Right. All right. Now, this is the one that, and for the record, this is there's not a date on the front page of that document, is there?
The state requests, if we're going to refer to the financial disclosure form, we need to refer to the one that's actually been admitted.
Touche, good point.
Yeah.
Let me get that back from the detective and I'll get the actual.
What are you doing?
All right. You've asked me to use the one we've marked, now you gotta help me find it.
It was filed March 13th, 2018.
What's it marked?
So it will be Exhibit 5.
Exhibit 5. Okay, now I've got a document with the help of my colleague, thank you, marked Exhibit 5, which appears to be pulling out of this, out of the redacted statement, showing you the document marked financial disclosures, 1 of 8. Do you see that, sir? I believe that's the same document.
Yes.
Okay. Now, is there a date on the front page?
I'm sorry, is there what on the
Okay.
front page?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Is there a date on the front page of that document?
No,
Is there a date on the second page of that document?
no,
Is there a date on the third page of that document?
no,
Is there a date on the fourth page of that document?
no,
Is there a date on the 5th page of that document?
No,
Is there a date on the 6th page of that document?
no,
Is there a date on the 7th page? That's the 13th of March,
yes,
correct?
correct.
Now, let me ask you a question, Detective. Did you go down and ask anybody in family court how these documents are prepared? Did somebody just take the box off, or the back off, and just staple a new date on it? I've never seen.
I'm unclear, this was filed on the 13th with the filing, the complete financial disclosure form was filed within the filing.
Okay, and where in the law or where in the self-help center does it tell Mr. McDonald to update his financial forms before every hearing?
Really?
I don't know.
You were aware that there was actually a hearing set for September 17th and it got continued?
There was a lot of hearings set, yes.
Okay, so listen to me, go ahead. You agree?
Okay, I'm sorry, but I would expect, especially when this is supposed to be a custody hearing, that Mr. McDonald is the one who's filing for. Remember, he was the McDonald was the moving party for that hearing. I would expect that one of the things I would probably do is update my financial forms and financial records. As a matter of course, this idea that, oh, he shouldn't be expected to completely update his forms, especially in a custody hearing, come on.
I agree that this thing's been going on for quite some time, correct?
Correct.
All right, now, I want to come back to Ms. Hunterton. Without badgering you, when did you go talk to Ms. Hunterton and why?
I spoke to her, I believe it was March 21st, 2018.
All right, and you had developed through a tip that maybe this document was false, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Did you go talk?
One of the perjury or perjury charges or fraudulent charges is that he provided knowingly false information on his financial disclosure form. That's the second charge, in addition to the one where he added the extra statement on the therapist's note.
Yes.
All right. Now, let's go through what we can agree on without fighting. We agree that she acknowledges that Mike had been there.
Yes.
She admits that she had been giving him counseling.
No.
All right, well, we'll get back to that. We admit that she agreed that Mike wasn't a threat to his family.
Your Honor, objection.
Objection.
Well, no, they're not. She's been on the witness stand.
I'm overruling the objection, that's crossed.
Fine. Yeah, I mean, all right, that's a fair one because she was on the stand. Yeah.
No, we didn't have that discussion.
Okay, well, you got an affidavit from her, did you not, sir? Showing you what state's aid. In fact, this document was prepared specifically at your request, was it not?
No,
Why did Ms. Hunterton prepare that affidavit then for you?
she didn't prepare it for me.
She did not. When did you go see her?
March 21st, I believe.
And then why would you, and she did this affidavit that the jury's, we've already admitted into evidence, was prepared on the 19th of March, or 19th of April, sorry. She didn't do this for you?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Did Ms. Hunterton tell you that she disagreed substantively with anything that was in the letter?
She didn't tell me that she agreed or disagreed, but the only thing that she told me is what was in the letter was in the spirit of what they spoke about, is what she said.
Okay, so the spirit. All right, so if I'm going to commit deception, I've got to convince you that something that's not true is actually true.
No, oh, come on. I does he think that? Yeah, he does think his man. It's not the point. The point isn't whether or not the forged in the what was forged is true or not, or true or believed by the original author. That's the fact that he doctored it.
Correct.
Deception?
Yeah, sure. Okay, I mean, isn't that the soul of gravamen, is a fraud? I'm lying to you to get money from you? or
Objection,
to-
calling for legal conclusions.
Yeah, there it is. There, thank you. I was wondering whether they're going to do that.
Deal with that in jury instructions.
All right, sir. She said that she agreed with the spirit of what was said in the letter.
Correct.
Okay? And your recollection now is that you don't recall her telling you that Mike had actually been attending counseling with you?
I didn't ask for that, no.
Okay, you didn't ask for that. We need the course indulgence for this one. All right, Chris. All right, thank you, Detective. You may be a little confused about the timeline. Hey, approach.
Yes.
All right, counsel, this is states 8.
States 8.
Yes. All right. Have you seen that before, sir?
Yes.
Okay. When and under what circumstance did you see that affidavit?
I saw that when it was filed in family court.
Okay. And that affidavit pretty much says it's procedurally irregular, but why did you go forward with criminal charges if she said she kind of agreed with the spirit of everything that was in the revised letter?
The investigation has different facets, and just because she said that she would write another letter if she had the chance to, I mean, there's obviously perjury issues that have nothing to do with her letter. There is forgery issues that, I don't know that she's actually said that those are her beliefs of what that sentence actually says.
Okay. All right, okay, you know she's testified.
I don't know.
Okay, go ahead. How can you be certain that he's committed fraud on his financial forms when you don't know how many times the forms, how often they have to be updated?
Never said he committed fraud on it.
Okay. You would agree over the last 4 or 5 years, he's had several different employments. You've seen the records, correct?
I've seen his records with Progistics.
Okay. Now, you watched and collected a videotape for the district attorney's office from family court that we've seen here on the witness stand, correct?
Correct.
Now, did you watch that the entire time?
Yes.
Okay. Now, in the entire time that that video was playing, did Mr. McDonald have an attorney?
There was an attorney that came in to withdraw from the case.
Withdraw from the case. Mr. McDonald didn't have an attorney, correct?
Well, I don't, at one point he did, so I don't know when you're speaking about. During the actual hearing, I would say he did not have an attorney.
He did not have an attorney at the hearing.
Yeah.
Did that cause
And?
concern that maybe Mr. McDonald wasn't able to get his thoughts out coherently in the face of a tough cross-examiner?
No, I think the questions regarding if you're employed and how much you make are fairly simple.
The attorney representing his ex-wife, whom we all agree doesn't have good feelings for him, correct?
I have no
Okay.
idea what his feelings are.
Okay. Sir, one of the things you can do if you want to find out about someone is go talk to their ex-spouse, correct? Have you used that technique as a detective?
Yeah.
Okay, so usually most divorces don't end amicably, and generally the ex-spouse has got a lot of dirt on people, correct?
Sometimes.
Sometimes, right? It's a standard detective thing, correct? Or something you can use if you want to.
Something you can do, I wouldn't say it's standard, but
Okay. Now, you're telling me you don't remember talking to his ex-wife?
I've never, ever talked to his ex-wife, nor have I met her.
You know Detective Ruiz over at the Metropolitan Police Department?
No.
No? How many cases are down in family court, sir, do you know?
No.
All right. How many people are delinquent on child support or financial problems?
Objection, relevance?
Objection.
Why this particular
I'll go
case?
relevance.
Sustaining the objection.
All right, I'll rephrase it. Sir, is there any particular special interest in this case? There's thousands, hundreds of thousands of cases down there. Why this one?
This came to my attention during an investigation that I was conducting.
All right, so if Mr. McDonald hadn't run for office, you wouldn't have investigated him and he would not have been charged with a crime.
I guess we could say if he hadn't run for office, there would not have been an allegation that he was not living in the district he was running for, so I guess if you take those steps back, then correct.
Well, once you found the allegation turned out to be false, weren't you uncomfortable that you were being used to somebody else's interest?
Oh!
Using me, I don't feel anybody was using me.
Okay. Do you know as a fact his ex-wife put that out there, or do you know?
Oh, wow. Okay, so I forgot he made this charge. He's saying that it was his ex-wife who was the anonymous tipster? Oh my god.
Did you call and talk with the mediators of this site? Where they're getting their information from?
I didn't call them.
All right, well, the second piece of information would have been demonstrably weaker value since the first allegation turned out not to be true. But you still used it as the basis of a search warrant.
No, I used it as a tip to begin an investigation, which developed probable cause for my search warrant through further investigation.
What other detectives did you work with on this case?
Hipster.
Detective Mark Gregory.
And does Detective Gregory, does he have any background with false documents?
Yes, in the course of World War II.
Right, well, let me ask you a couple of questions. You're doing, what's the name of the unit now?
Criminal Intelligence Section.
Criminal Intelligence Section. Now, do you guys have a mission statement?
No.
All right, I know what a burglary detective does, I know what a homicide detective does, but what does a criminal intelligence unit do?
I explained it at the beginning of my testimony. We gather information and investigate allegations of crimes which are violations of public integrity type statutes.
Did you interview Judge Markey?
No.
How long did that audio tape go on, the court minutes? It was clearly edited. How long was that hearing?
Maybe a couple hours.
And of that couple hours edited, we saw how much time?
I don't know.
Objection, may we approach?
Yes.
Any time during that tape, did they discuss child custody? Mr. McDonald asked for his kids back, or at least access to his kids.
I believe that's what the whole point of the hearing was, for the most part.
And the judge denied his request.
Yes.
Hey, doing?
Just a couple of follow-up minor points, sir. I just want to close loop on a couple of things. Did you ever go and interview Mr. DeCiro?
No,
Did anybody from your unit go over and interview Mr. DeCiro?
not that I'm aware of.
Okay. And how many guys are on how many detectives are on your unit?
At the time, I believe there was 5, and it differed between 5 and 6.
Do you know, or would you know if somebody actually went over and talked to the moderator of this website?
Yeah.
You would?
If it was on my squad, yes.
Okay.
I can't speak for the whole police department.
Did Judge, or did anybody other than you, this is all your initiative. You started this investigation start to finish. No one's asked you to?
No.
And other than this anonymous tip about where he lived?
That's it.
Hmm.
I have nothing further.
Redirect.
Yes, Your Honor. And first, in rebuttal, the state has an additional proposed exhibit. May I approach, have it marked as next in line?
Yes.
So, Detective, you've been asked a lot by defense counsel about viewing the Nevada Court Watchers Facebook site. So I want to refer to that for a few minutes. First, why were you monitoring that specific Facebook page for Nevada Court Watchers?
That's just one of the sites that I look at from time to time. It discusses different aspects of the courts and different attorneys and or judges, and it's information that's basically stuff that we monitor and stuff that the type of investigations that we do involve those type of entities and those type of persons.
Okay, when you say those entities and types of persons, is that the fact that you look into allegations of wrongdoing by licensed individuals like attorneys?
Correct.
As well as judges?
Correct.
And what you observed on that Facebook site, was that a message you received, or was it just a public comment on that site?
No, it was a public comment.
So did anyone ever contact you directly on Facebook, or
No.
email or other electronic means regarding the defendant?
No.
Now, you were asked about a form that was attached to your search warrant affidavit that had a date on it of September 26th of 2017.
Correct.
Just now by defense counsel. Why was that attached to your search warrant?
Again, that was attached to show down at the bottom, there appeared to be an alteration with typeset on the bottom, which says defendant, same thing with the date of 9/26/17. And then there appears to be a typed or a script signature that's over it that's not handwritten. And this is the type of script that appears to me to be in the altered letter that was placed on there. So this was to show that Mr. McDonald had access to some type of program that would put this typeset into a document that already existed. So I was just showing the correlation to it.
And the financial disclosure form that you reviewed in the course of your investigation, when was that actually filed in the defendant's family court case?
That was filed on March 13th of 2018.
And in the course of your investigation, did you determine whether or not the defendant was employed on that date?
Yes,
Okay. Was he or was he not employed on that date?
he was employed.
And the financial disclosure form that was filed on March 13th of 2018, did it have a date on it anywhere on the form?
On the signature page, it had the date of March 13th.
And in the course of your investigation, at some point, did you request client records from Ms. Nancy Hunterton's therapy practice?
Yes.
Okay. And were those records ever received?
Yes.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes.
No. Paper shuffling, ASMR. Uh-huh.
May I approach?
Yes.
No.
And Your Honor, may I approach the witness who states for post 28? Detective, I'm showing you states for post 28. The first page you may not recognize, but is that a custodian of record affidavit?
It is.
Okay. And have you seen that before or not?
Not this particular one, no.
Okay. And then can you flip through the rest of the pages in states for post 28 and tell me if you recognize them?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Are those records that you obtained from Ms. Nancy Hunterton's practice, Character Way?
Yes.
And, Your Honor, at this time, the state moves to admit state's proposed exhibit 28 pursuant to NRS 52.260 because there's a custodian of record affidavit which allows for admittance of these records if one is included with the records.
No objection pursuant to the conversation of the bench.
That's fine. Go ahead.
All right then.
Pursue our conversation.
Thank you, Your Honor. Permission to publish?
Go ahead.
And so I'm publishing the state's exhibit 28. Can you see that on your screen, okay, Detective?
Yes.
Okay. And, all right, and what we're looking at here, what does it say at the top?
It says letter / affidavit.
Okay. And then, and so what is it that we're looking at here? Just what type of document?
Appears to be an email.
Okay, from whom?
Mr. McDonald.
And what's the email address?
It's michaelmcdonaldwork@gmail.com.
And who's the email to?
I would really like to file it with a
What's the
dismiss
date
tomorrow
on
or
it?
early next week.
April 19th of 2018.
And what does the email itself say?
If you could scoot it over just a little bit, it's cut off.
I like that.
Yeah, thank you. Nancy wanted to ask you how the letter is coming alone. Would really like to file it with a dismissal tomorrow or early next week as it is looming over my head. Thank you for all that you do.
And Detective,
Uh-huh.
do you have State's Exhibit 5 up there with you?
I do.
Your Honor, may I approach her if you're done? Actually, any exhibit, if you have any exhibits, it's up there. Right.
Wait, was the hearing in 2017 or 2018? I thought it was 2018.
So Detective, I'm showing you the last page of State's Exhibit 2. And so what I'm showing you is attached to State's Exhibit 2.
Thank you, Sathael, for giving me a heart attack. Much appreciated. Oh my god. I hate you so much, but thank you. Thank you. Oh, for the super chat. Yeah, you got me. You got me good.
And when we see on the front page, would you agree this is one of the filings from Michael McDonald from September 27th of 2017?
Correct.
Okay. And so the last page of this document, you were asked about attaching this to your search warrant. Does this appear to be a copy of what you attached to your search warrant request?
Yes, could you scoot it down just a little so I can see the
Right,
bottom?
okay.
Yes, it does, thank you.
Okay. And so I believe you were testifying that this stood out to you, I think, because of this section and this section here, is that right?
Correct.
Okay, could you explain that?
Again, it looked like it was an existing document that had some handwritten.
Thank you, Sathael. I
writing
should be
on
so
it, as well as the
enthusiastic
date.
that you gave me a heart attack.
And then what it appears is there's some typeset that was somehow imposed or put into the document stating defendant 926 of 17, and then what appears to be a signature. And that struck me because it appears to be the same type of way that extra sentence may have been added into the letter from Ms. Hunterton.
And so I'm going to show you an additional exhibit that contains a copy of the letter. So you can pick that out, and that's State's Exhibit 5.
Ah.
I'll zoom in. Okay. And do you see here kind of the similar technology that you were talking about?
Correct.
Okay. And can you explain what you're referring to?
I'm referring to the last line that says, I do not believe Mr. McDonald is a harm to his children or himself.
So you're saying it looked like it was a similar type of technology method, adding this sentence to this letter as adding the wording to the document that we were just looking at?
Correct.
Court's brief indulgence. I will pass the witness.
Just a couple quick follow-up questions. Detective, there's something I don't understand. Was Michael McDonald behind on his child support?
I have no idea.
Well, if he wasn't behind on his child support, and no one's asking for your help, and you've never been to family court, and you have no reference in family court, why did you randomly pick a few documents and file felony charges on them?
I didn't randomly pick documents that explain the course of my investigation, and there's clearly filed documents as part of my investigation, which are felony crimes.
Did you check with anybody for some perspective on things? That's an enormous bureaucracy down there. Thousands, tens of thousands of pieces of paper every day.
I clearly saw that it seemed to be an issue with the family court judge on the video.
Did you interview the family court judge?
No.
Did you get communications from the family court judge?
No.
So she's got all sorts of lawful powers to enforce order in her court. Did you check with her? Why are you duplicating her effort?
I wasn't duplicating her effort.
All right.
The judge isn't the one who's going to press charges, bro.
To this day, do you know what percentage of litigants in family court even update their financial disclosures after their first file?
No.
And you agree that this divorce has been going on for 5 years?
It's been going on for several years, I know that.
Several years. So you can't even say, as you're sitting here, that this is any different than any other family court case.
When you're talking about updating financial disclosure forms, the one that we've been looking at on March 13th was filed on March 13th, and it was signed that it was March 13th, so.
Was it, but my point, detective, is you simply don't have the reference to know. I mean, every bureaucracy is different.
Objection,
I
counsel's
withdraw,
testifying.
it's argument.
Yep, he's testifying.
Okay. Knowing that you're in an area that you don't understand that well, or you don't use every day, did you try to talk to a couple of lawyers from that area of law?
No.
Did you talk to a retired family court judge to see if this really was a big deal?
Would he?
Okay.
He's not the ultimate arbiter of whether or not to press charges. He could forward what his findings are to a prosecutor, and they can make a determination as to whether or not there's enough here to file charges. You didn't have to go through all those steps, dude. He's not obligated to.
Court's brief indulgence. Just briefly, Your Honor, I know you're here.
All right,
Hey, Detective.
it's something you brought up and.
It is, Your Honor.
Okay.
Detective, you were asked some questions about why you didn't talk to certain people, specifically Judge Linda Markey. Why didn't you talk to Judge Linda Markey in the course of your investigation?
I certainly can't have communication with the judge about one of her cases that she's overseeing.
Why is that?
It's improper.
And you were also asked if you met with Mark DeCiro. Why did you never meet with Mark DeCiro?
You really didn't have anything to add to my investigation.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Anything else? Questions from the jury? Raise your hand. Okay, thank you. Don't be shy.
Folks, if you have, you can use the full sheet of paper, and we don't have shortage
The jury's asking questions.
of paper. And write your juror number on there. And you don't have to fold them up, you can just hand it.
You know, if you could write it, redo it on a full sheet, because those are kept for, as part of the court record, and a little scrap is gonna get lost.
Judge, one of the jurors had her notes on the top, I told her to tear
Okay,
that off.
if it's big enough that. Steve, we have lots more. Council approach. Detective, I read these as they're written, so it sometimes sounds weird because of the third person, whatever. This one doesn't. Does your department/squad have access to computer forensic analysis?
Our squad does not. Not quite sure what would be analyzed on the document.
Were the files/photos of the letters retained and submitted to computer forensics to determine origin of alterations? If not, why?
No. We're dealing with, I never even had an original copy of this, was all documents that were recovered from the clerk's office, so they're scanned in. So even if we had capabilities to do some type of forensic identification or something, we can't do it off of scanned documents. So we never did locate the original letter, so we wouldn't be able to do any type of forensic activity with it.
God.
Was your initial observation of Michael McDonald at his residence parentheses, out of area, done
Huh?
on your own personal time or part of your salaried day.
It was during my work hours.
Referring to your comment on your,
What kind of question is that? Yeah. Yeah, I do not talk to persons of interest on my off hours. No.
quote, downtime.
I think I made a statement that I review some websites when we have downtime. But still, I'm talking about while I'm on my shift, not when I'm at home or something similar to that. So it's all during my work time.
Follow up on those two, or those questions from the state,
Yeah, no, Your Honor.
from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you, Detective, you may step down.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're taking our evening recess. Council approach. Okay, 9 a.m. During this recess, you're once again admonished, do not talk or converse amongst yourselves or with anyone else on any subject connected with the trial. Do not read, watch, or listen to any report of or commentary on this trial or any person connected with this trial by any medium of intelligence tomorrow.
Make sure you grab up. Session, the Honorable Ronald Israel presiding.
Good morning.
All right, we're back.
Please be seated. Go ahead.
Case number C 335284, State of Nevada versus Michael McDonald.
Anything we need to talk about?
Just briefly, Your Honor, the state has the unredacted versions of things that have been admitted as state's exhibits, and the state just wants to make sure these are admitted as court exhibits.
No objection.
Not to go back to the jury.
Not that it's worth much, but I do want to commend my colleague who clearly spent a lot of time redacting those documents. And despite my heated and moment complaints, I want to recognize that she's obviously a lot of effort into it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Can I approach? I just didn't want to do it in
Yeah.
front of the jury.
Yes. Appreciate it. So we have one witness and then jury
Mr. Schuller, and I've been up most of the night, when I worked on your instructions, I don't think we'll have any trouble getting this case to the jury.
Okay, very good.
Most of it's
There's like a pretty big trial with, I don't know how many different sides. Supposed to start whenever this is done, so I keep, first it was Tuesday, and then it was, so it's back and forth. But anyway, you guys have done it expeditiously. Anything from the defense?
There you are. We'll,
Bring him in. Please be seated. Parties acknowledge the presence of the jury.
Yes, Your Honor.
yes, Your Honor.
State, call your, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning.
Morning.
So you have an idea, we hope to be, no promises, but we hope to be doing closing arguments this afternoon. So, State, call your next witness.
The state calls Marshall Willick. And Your Honor, may I approach to retrieve some exhibits?
Please raise your right hand. You do solemnly affirm the testimony you're about to give in this action should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, that will retain you for no case of perjury.
Expert witness.
Please be seated. Please state your name and spell it for the record.
First name Marshall, M-A-R-S-H-A-L, last name Willick, W-I-L-L-I-C.
Hey, Brad.
Go ahead.
Good morning, Mr. Willick.
Good morning.
Mr. Willick, what do you do for a living?
I'm an attorney.
Okay, and what kind of attorney are you?
Family law, in the vernacular divorce law.
And how long have you been a family law attorney?
Most of my career, I've been an attorney for almost 40 years and been doing family law for most of that time.
And in what jurisdiction?
All in Nevada.
Okay. And in, mostly in Clark County, or?
Yes, it's a statewide practice, but I live here, so the bulk of my cases have been here.
And do you have your own law firm?
I do.
And what is that called?
It's the Willick Law Group, at the moment, 4 lawyers.
And are you the founding partner?
I am.
And can you explain a little about what you do as a family law attorney?
Sure. Family court takes in a number of issues that are set out in the statutes. It's divorce, custody, visitation, support, adoption, guardianship, terminations of parental rights, and pretty much every issue that can come up in a divorce, which is pretty much everything, finds its way into family court one way or another.
And could you kind of go through your work history, sort of where?
Sure. I grew up here, junior high school, college. We didn't have a law school back then, so I went elsewhere and came back.
Where did you go to law school?
Georgetown in D.C. Went to work in the Nevada Supreme Court for a couple of years on the central legal staff. Joined an insurance defense firm for a year or two during the engine and fire litigation. And then when that ended, went off into a small firm, which dissolved about 3 or 4 or 5 years later. And then I restarted it as the Willick Law Group.
And the Willick Law Group, when was that first formed?
80s, 87, 88, 89, somewhere.
So approximately 30 years ago?
Right.
Okay. And do you have any particular certifications regarding family law?
Well, several. I'm a certified family law specialist by the NBTA.
Certified.
Nevada. I'm a member of the American and International Academies of Matrimonial Lawyers. There's a number of organization certificates, etc. I've received training in most ancillary fields and processes.
Have you authored any books or articles on family law in Nevada?
Yes, several books and hundreds of articles. There is no known complete list, but a general book for the public called Know Your Rights in Divorce, several textbooks for lawyers, military and other retirement benefits. I teach a lot.
Do you teach, what do you teach?
Mostly lawyers. It's called CLE.
I was gonna say he's probably a CLE teacher. I gotta catch up with my hours before the year's out.
Topics in family law to lawyer audiences. There's also been a bunch of general public information.
Okay, so you teach the general public about family law as well?
When I'm invited, yes.
So, how does that work? Do you go and speak at functions, or?
Yes. State bars will put them on, or county bars, or even private organizations will have some sort of event, and they bring in speakers to address various topics, which I've done on a wide range of divorce. As I said, divorce sooner or later takes in pretty much anything that can happen in a courtroom. So I've been invited to speak on topics from computers to pension benefits.
And do you have any involvement with the Nevada Family Law Practice Manual?
Well, yeah, I was the original author of most of it, and the original managing editor for its creation, which took some
La-dee-da.
and it's gone on to, I think,
Got credentials.
2 or 3 other editions since then.
And when was the family court in the 8th Judicial District Court here in Clark County, when was that created?
1992. Before that, family law was done in the general courtrooms. There was no civil criminal division. It was all one group, and family law was just lumped in with everything else as something that would be heard first thing in the morning right before criminal sentencing or fender benders or whatever. So there was a decision in the late 80s is when the debate started in the potentially a constitutional amendment in the Nevada Constitution to allow the formation of a family court specific to handling these very personal, very important cases.
And did you have any involvement in the creation of that family court?
Yeah, I've been involved since the beginning. I was part of the attorney focus groups that backed the legislation, and I wasn't in the legislature. I was just an attorney in practice who assisted the people that actually got the thing passed and tried to set it up.
Meaning assisted the legislators?
Yeah, I answered, I've always been something of a legal technician, so I've answered a lot of questions from legislators, from judges. That's pretty much my role.
And have you previously testified as an expert before the 8th Judicial District Court regarding family law?
Many times.
And you're receiving compensation for testifying here today?
That's my understanding. I've never submitted a statement, but my understanding is I'm supposed to track my time and eventually submit a statement.
Okay. And do you do an hourly rate?
I don't know what hourly rate is acceptable to the public covers. I was told that it was $150, and so that's fine.
Okay. And so in your experience practicing family law, have you taken family court cases to trial?
Hundreds, thousands.
And mostly in Clark County?
Mostly in Clark County.
Okay. So as a result of your work experience, are you familiar with the family court building here in town?
In the building. My office is across the street.
Okay. So the family court building at 601 North Pecos?
Yes, corner of Pecos and Mid-Anson.
And how are you familiar with how litigants typically file things in family court? And I'm not talking about attorneys, but the actual parties.
Sure, and both can. You can either file electronically or you can file across the counter.
Across the counter, meaning in person?
Yeah, you show up and you hand documents over. There's actually two places where you can do that. You can do that here in this building. This is called the RJC, for Regional Justice Center. Or you can file at the family court, which has a duplicate clerk's counter at that court.
And are most people who are getting divorces or have family court cases, are they represented by an attorney in family court?
Well, it's changed over the years. Currently, I believe it's 60 some odd, could be up to 70% of cases have at least one litigant involved in the case who is self-represented. They're called either pro per, proper person, or pro se litigants. And the remainder have an attorney. And a lot of people bounce in and out. They can have an attorney for one piece of the case and be self-represented in another part of the case, or vice versa.
Are you familiar with the self-help center that's in the family court building?
Intimately.
Okay. Can you explain what that self-help center does?
Sure. The self-help center was created to assist people who either can't or don't want to hire a lawyer to file documents.
All right, guys, I might have to. Yeah, I'm gonna have to stop here. I hate to stop it in the middle of testimony, but my food's here, and I need to go eat with my dad. So I apologize for the abruptness of it, but I will be coming back. Maybe sometime. Mandy, probably not tonight. But I'll probably be back tomorrow. But I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me. Thank you, all of you, for the re-ups and memberships. And I will have to talk to you guys later. Thank you guys again. I gotta eat before the food gets cold, okay? But thanks a lot to all of you. Sathiel, thank you for the donations. Hope Phil, Taco, BSBT, Shay, Beaver. Thanks, guys. Always appreciate it. Take care and have a good night. See ya. Bye-bye.
They also cite parts of the Quran, but the fight for Palestine, okay, for some of these more extremist groups, is a fight that every Muslim brother must take up, right? Osama bin Laden is echoing this idea. Palestinians do not fight alone. The entire Muslim world stands beside them.